Bocock, and welcome to Between the Covers. I want you to imagine this scene. You're in a war zone in Yemen. Bombs are exploding right outside the apartment where you're hiding. And in your mind, you have two options. You wait for al-Qaeda to find you and kill you, or you kill yourself first. This is the dire situation in which my guest today found himself in March of 2015. And then he had one more idea. He turned to social media. He went online and he asked someone, anyone, to help him. 4 strangers in different parts of the world responded. They came together for a rescue mission that was born on Facebook. This story is now a book, The Fox Hunt, a refugee's memoir of coming to America. And it is my pleasure to welcome the author, Mohammed Al-Samawi. I'm going to be honest with you, Mohammed, in telling you that I knew very little about the war in Yemen. I'd seen some things on the news, but until I started researching this, I was very surprised, and I apologize to you for that. For one thing, we're going to get a little background here, because that really is crucial to your story. Yemen is one of the, if not the poorest country in the Arab world. And when this civil war started, and as of today, so many civilians have lost their lives. I can't get a good handle on the count. It's in the thousands of people that have died, many children, up to 1 million people have been displaced. And I did hear from a UN figure that 50,000 people have died because of famine.
First, speaking about Yemen, you're not the only one who doesn't know a lot about what's happening in Yemen. It's sad that when you see in the media, you see the media focus a lot about Syria, let's say. They focus about other places, but nobody really mentioned a lot what's happening in Yemen. Although what's happening in Yemen is a war that Yemenis themselves, they don't have any control about. To tell you a little bit background about Yemen, as you said, Yemen is one of the poorest countries in the whole world. And it's near one of the rich countries in the world, which is Saudi Arabia. Yemen, it used to be 2 countries, and it happens to be north of Yemen and south of Yemen. My father is from the north of Yemen, and my mom is actually from south of Yemen. And then in 1990, Yemen became one country, and became famous about Republic of Yemen.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your family and your life growing up in Yemen? I know that what may be unusual in your circumstance is that both of your parents were professionals working. They were both doctors. What was it like growing up for you?
It was not only my parents are doctors, but all my siblings are doctors, including my brothers and sisters. I am the only one who wasn't a doctor. My family was kind of like a Jewish family in Yemen in some way, because all of them are doctors. No, I was very lucky. Although that I have such disability, which is in my hand and my leg, my parents taught me that I shouldn't feel sad because I have such disability.
Let's talk about that if we can. You had a stroke when you were a very young child, which left you with a disability. And reading in your book, I see that you wanted to do what your siblings were doing, riding bikes and playing soccer, and you couldn't. So what did you do?
I learned how to speak English because I want to show them that even if I have a disability, I can do things that they can do.
Which ends up in the story of your life ending up saving your life in many ways.
In a lot of ways.
You talked about your family and the Jewish, it would have been like a Jewish family with everyone wanting to have their children be doctors. But on a serious note, when you were growing up, you were actually taught that Jews were the enemy, that Jews were to be feared and to be hated.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, and that's what I wanted to tell you, when you live in a country like Yemen, where you have dictatorship system, kind of, they don't want you to focus that you don't have hospitals, or you don't have schools, or you don't have even democracy in Yemen. They want you to focus on a fake enemy, because they don't want you to protest against them. They want you to protest against the fake enemy. And in that case, the fake enemy was Jews, Israel, in most of the cases. So even when the Arab Spring started, I remember that the former president of Yemen, he gave a speech and he said that the Arab Spring is actually a conspiracy by Israel.
Knowing that Jews are the enemy, this is what you're taught, what the children are taught. You're learning English. You have an English teacher from the United Kingdom who gives you a present. What does he give you?
He gave me the Bible.
He gave you the Bible. You, in turn, give him a copy of the Quran. You say that you will switch and you will each read each other's holy book. But just you having the Bible in your possession was really against everything.
I wasn't ever thinking that I would read the Bible in my life. How it started, actually, I gave him the copy of Quran because I wanted to convert him to be a Muslim. And I thought that he would just read it and he would say, thank you so much. But he gave me a copy of the Bible. And that changed my life. And I decided to read the Bible for two reasons. First, I want to find the aha, that I can say, aha, my book is much better than this book. And I want in the second time that I want to read it while Luke is reading the Quran, and then he will convert, for sure, I was thinking, Muslim. So I started reading the Bible, and nobody taught me, in Yemen, nobody tell you actually that the Bible has Old Testament, New Testament. I was just thinking that I'm reading a Bible. So from any book, you start from the beginning. And I start from the beginning, and from the first page, I was not searching for something to find. I was searching for the aha, that I can say, that's a difficult question. I want Luke to answer it because he will not be able to answer it. So from the first page, I started having these questions to ask Luke. And when I called him, I said, Luke, I have questions for you. And he told me, Muhammad, can you go to the middle of the book and start from the middle of the book? I said, what kind of people are reading the book from the middle? And he told me that he wanted me to read the New Testament, and I'm reading actually the Old Testament. And when I told him what's the difference, he told me, well, the Old Testament is actually the Torah. And that feelings that came to me was, I wonder always why Jews hate us and why Jews, they want to kill us. So maybe if I start reading the Torah, maybe I will find the reason why Jews have this kind of anger against us. So I started reading the Torah, and it was a very big surprise for me to find the similarities actually between the Torah and the Quran.
So you're reading the Torah, which is a surprise to you. You have this Bible in your home that you're hiding from your parents. You're hiding under your mattress, I believe, at that point. You become so interested in this world that has opened up to you because now you're starting to question all the things you were taught before.
Yeah, to be honest, I was angry from God. I was always asking why God gave me such disability. And I was finding always, I want to find the answer for that, why I have such disability. But when I start reading the Torah and the Bible, and I know for some reason that, God gave me this disability, and I start learning English because of that. And now I'm reading the Torah in English. So I thought that maybe this is the reason of my life, that I want to know exactly the truth about it. The more that I was reading from the Torah and the Bible, the more I find the similarities between the three religions, Islam and Judaism and Christianity. So for me it was, this is an amazing book, but I still didn't have my answer, which is why Jews hate us and they want to kill us.
And like any other young person anywhere in the world, you have the internet, you have Facebook, you're looking for Jews on the internet.
Yes.
And you're a Muslim, okay.
Facebook was something new for me. I didn't know how to use Facebook, so I was searching for Jews on Facebook. And to search about Jews, I was writing words like Israel or Jews to find like people who are Jews and things like that. And you need to forgive me, but I didn't know how to use Facebook at that time. So I started adding hot girls from Israel as friends. And
hot girls from Israel as friends, okay.
And you can imagine that nobody accepted my request in the first place. Then I know how to use Facebook, so I start sending request messages. And my message was a typical message, which says, greetings from Yemen. My name is Muhammad. I know you're a Jew. I know you live in Israel. What do you think about Muslims? What do you think about Yemenis? Yours sincerely, Muhammad. You can imagine a lot of them, they didn't respond to such message. It's
I
like
can imagine.
it's like the Nigerian prince ask you for $1 million or something like that.
It got more serious after this because you are getting responses. You end up joining groups that have interfaith dialogues. And you told me the first Jew, you met a Jewish gay man that pretty much did it for you.
Yeah, he was actually an Israeli Jewish gay. It's like
Okay.
3 in 1 for me.
The trifecta, okay. This became very serious because at some point you were receiving death threats. You're worried for yourself, you're also very worried for your family, and you decide to leave your parents' home.
It was the only option if I don't want them to be killed. You see, when Yemen is a family-oriented society, kind of. So even if I am 25, 26, 27, I still live in the same house with my parents. So an Al-Qaeda or Houthis or any extreme groups, they don't separate it between me and my family. So if they will come to kill me and my family stand against them, they will kill also my family.
You were living in the capital city of Yemen.
In Sana'a.
Where did you move?
I moved to Aden. And the reason why I moved to Aden, first I wanted to be far away from Houthis. And I wanted the second thing to be far away from my family. In case someone wants to kill me, at least it will not be near my family and my family will not be hurt.
We're talking about the Houthi rebels.
Yes.
They're fighting the government that's in
Yes.
power. You move there, the war is intensifying, and you are pretty much trapped in this apartment where you are. There are bombs that are exploding outside. You have very little in the way of supplies that's left in your apartment. You have some water, very little food. What you do have, and you're worried because Al-Qaeda is literally outside. Were you thinking you would be killed?
I was thinking to kill myself first, because if they catch me, they will not just kill me, they will torture me first and then they will kill me. So I thought to myself, maybe if I kill myself, it will be easier. No, I mean, as you say, when I moved to Aden, I thought that I will be safe from Houthis, but I never thought that I will be trapped between Al-Qaeda and Houthis. And I was in my apartment. At that time, I was eating chocolate and milk and water. This was my supply. And, by time goes, I feel like the conflict became more and more, and I can hear the airstrikes, I can hear the RPG and gun shooting. And I hear people shouting, Allahu Akbar, and I was afraid. So I thought that maybe this is the last hope for me. And I was hiding actually inside the bathroom of the apartment because the bathroom was kind of like in the middle of the apartment. And I thought that if an RPG came or an airstrike came, at least I would be safe if I was in the middle of the apartment. But I had one hope, which is at that time I still had my phone with me and I still use Facebook. So before Facebook, I was searching for anyone who can help me out. And nobody was able to help me out because everyone, as Yemenis, was trying to leave or trying to escape from the war by themselves.
I can see you're getting very emotional just talking about this.
It was a hard time. It was a very hard time because I was reaching everyone that I know, my friends, my family even, and I asked them, can you help me out? And I feel the fear from their voices because they want first to escape because of the airstrikes. Nobody has time to say, hold on, I need to save Muhammad and then I will save myself. Everyone trying to escape. So I used Facebook. I started contacting every single one that I know on Facebook. Can you please help me out?
What did you actually say on Facebook?
I wanted to ask people, if they can help me by any way, if they know someone in the American embassy, if they know someone who has a safe place for me. Because my place was not safe. My place was just near Al-Qaeda checkpoint. So I wanted to have a place safe. I wanted to have a way, even if I can go back to Sana'a, at least I will be near my family. I wanted to say, I want anything so I can survive for another day. And I sent to everyone. And I thought in the beginning that the response was to my request. It was very realistic, but for me it wasn't. Because, for example, someone told me, I'm sorry, but I can't do anything for you, but I will pray for you. And I said, thank you so much, but I don't know how this will help me out. And then I reached another one and I asked him, can you please help me out? And he never responded to me, although that I can see that he saw my message. But the surprise for me that when 4 Americans I barely know have reached and they said they want to help me out. The first one who responded, his name Daniel. And Daniel, when I met him in a conference called the Muslim Jewish Conference in Bosnia. And the first time I met him, he was dancing hip hop. And inside me, I thought he will never be able to help me out. And when he responded, he wanted to help me out. It was like it was kind of like the window of hope for me.
This is Daniel Pincus. Daniel is in New York.
Yep.
I just want to say that these 4 people that connected are nowhere near each other.
No.
3 are in the States, but 1 is in San Francisco and 1 is in New York, and then
Washington.
in Washington, and then there is
Natasha, she lives in Tel Aviv.
In Tel Aviv. So your rescuers turn out to be Jews and Christians.
Yes, but I actually didn't reach all of them. Like, for example, Justin from San Francisco. The one who reached him is Megan Hallahan, who at that time was living in Tel Aviv. Now she lives in Washington. She sent an email to all her friends, and her email was, I want to help a peace activist from Yemen to escape from the war. And Justin saw the email. She didn't know that I actually know Justin. And Justin at that time, he told her, I don't know anyone from Yemen except 1 peace activist. I think he will be able to help your friend. And he gave her my contact information.
What is so fascinating is that not one of these people would be an expert in international diplomatic relations. Not at all. How did they pull this off?
I need to tell you the honest thing that when I was in Yemen, I would just trust them. No matter what they say to me, I would trust what they say. I remember when they told me, where do you live? And I said, well, I live in this street in Aden. They said, yeah, what's the building number? I said, it's Yemen. There's no buildings, number
No
for
numbers.
buildings. So they told me, well, we need to know where are you. So have you ever used Google Map? I said,
Google Maps, okay.
and I said, what's that? So can you imagine that I was in the middle of the war and they teach me how to download Google Map and use it to tell them where I live. But it was kind of like the only hope that I have, because these people, they left everything they have. They left all their work, their job, and they spent 13 days trying to help me out. And I couldn't fail. I needed to fight as they fight for me also as well.
You couldn't fail because you didn't want to let them down?
I didn't want to say to them, I don't trust you, I will try to find out a way. I know for sure that they're trying to help me out no matter what they can. So I needed to kind of like trust them. When I came to United States, I asked Daniel, like, how did you help me out? And he told me something. He said, to be honest with you, we were just trying to do anything we can do. We didn't have any plan. And it's kind of like funny, because when I was in Aden, when he told me that, don't worry, we have a plan for you. But then later on, I realized that they were trying everything they can.
You know, just thinking about it, it has to be the most dire of circumstances where your only hope is to go on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where did you go? What was the plan, and where did you go when you left that apartment?
When I left the apartment, Megan Hallahan, she reached a friend of her in the UN. She works in New York. And she asked her if she can help. So her friend told her that there is a hotel in Aden. If I will go there, I will be safe. So I had one option, which is just to go to this hotel.
This was the Sheraton Hotel.
This was Sheraton Hotel.
And it was dangerous just getting there.
It was impossible to get there. First, I don't drive. And second, there is no taxis. So I can't just pick up a taxi and go there. And Al-Qaeda checkpoint is just downstairs. So at that time, I was working with an organization called Oxfam. And I reached my organization, I asked them, can you please help me out? I want them to just give me a driver to drive me from my place to the hotel, and that's it. But unfortunately, I went to the wrong car, and he wasn't even Oxfam driver. He was a normal guy from Aden, he's a hero of my story also, because he helped me out. He drove me all the way from my apartment to Hotel Sheraton, and he risked his life for that.
There is so much more about this in the book. You end up on a fishing boat that takes you to Djibouti in Africa.
Yeah. I went by fishing boat to a military ship, an Indian military
Indian
ship.
ship.
And they took me to Djibouti with other Yemenis. And I arrived to Djibouti after, like, I think 1 day or 2 days in the sea around Djibouti. But the problem was, when I escaped with nothing. I didn't take a luggage with me. I didn't take anything with me. And a lot of Yemenis who were with me also at that time, they didn't have even their own passports. So the Djiboutian government, they didn't know how to handle the first refugees from Yemen. So they put us on the jail. On the jail. And the amazing thing again is that these 4 people using Facebook. So they posted on Facebook, they said, does anyone knows anyone in Djibouti? And someone said, I know someone who used to work in Sierra Leone who used to be in Djibouti. And later on, a couple of hours after that, there is someone with a nice suit. He came and he said, where is Mr. Mohammed Samawi? And I was out from the jail.
Yours is such an incredible story, and there is a beautiful picture of you and Daniel Pincus, and I can see the Statue of Liberty over your shoulder. I know what I think when I look at that. What do you think when you see that picture?
It's amazing that I am in the United States where I can say whatever I want to say and I can be who I am and nobody will kill me.
Mohammed, we would not even have your story to talk about if it wasn't for Facebook. So I think this is probably the best time to take a Facebook question. Carol Ann, she wants to know, what can the rest of us do to promote peace and foster dialogue?
That's a good question, actually. I think everyone can do that, and it's our duty to do this. In the United States, the amazing about it is that if you just see your neighborhood, you will find people from different religions and different cultures, and we need to have dialogue with them. We need to understand them. The fear from refugees, let's say, it comes because a lot of us, they don't even speak with them, and they don't know what they have been through. And there is also the refugees themselves. When they come, some of them, they don't live in mixed neighborhood. They prefer to live among their brothers and sisters and cousins. And that doesn't bring the peace that we are speaking about. For me, peace can do with everything in our life. I'm doing right now what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a program called the Abrahamic House, where I hope that to let a Christian, a Muslim, and a Jew, they stay in this house for free. They don't pay rent. I pay the rent for them. But in order to stay in this house, they need to do activities where they can bring the Muslim community and the Jewish community and the Christian community all together.
What a wonderful, wonderful program. We have another Facebook question, and it's from Linda LC, and she wants to know, do you still have contact with your family?
Yes and no. The situation in Yemen became so bad in Yemen, and the way how I can communicate with my family right now is only by WhatsApp. So you need to know that there is no electricity in Yemen since 3 years. So if my family want to have electricity, they need to wait until they find power. And usually what they do, they have a Chinese solar system where it can give them power for 2 hours or 3 hours per day. And the internet in Yemen is very slow. So I can't have a call with them. I can't even send or receive pictures from them a lot or videos. The only thing that I can receive is that they record a voice message on WhatsApp. And whenever I listen to it, I try to record something for them. And whenever they find power again, they receive my message. One time, I had a message from my mom. And my mom was telling me on the voice message that, Mohammed, I just don't want you to be worried. There is an airstrike near our home. And then I heard, boom, big explosion, and my mom was offline. So I acted crazy. I was trying to call everyone that I know. I was trying to do anything, but nobody was responding to me. What I did, I posted on Facebook. And I asked anyone that I know, can you please go check on my family? And I had a friend who went to my home and found my family was hiding in the basement because of the airstrike.
But they were okay.
They were okay, but there is a Saudi airstrike was hitting a school near our home. And that's why they were hiding. So it became difficult to communicate with my family. Of course, I'm always thinking about them. It's kind of like I feel guilty that I'm surviving and they're still suffering in the war. Not only them, but my friends and even all the people in Yemen. Nobody deserves such life. Nobody deserves to be in such a situation. We don't choose our nationality, unfortunately. We didn't choose our background. It happens that, they are from Yemen and they are suffering from it. So, and that's why when I came to the United States, I didn't want to write a book. I wanted to be far away from the book. But later on, I found that it's my duty to speak about what's happening because I want people to know what's happening in Yemen.
Mohammed, I know that your work continues today to promote peace and religious tolerance and dialogue. And as you said, I also know your family is still in Yemen, and I wish them well. The book is The Fox Hunt, a refugee's memoir of coming to America. I want to thank you for your work. I want to thank you for being here. I'm Ann Bocock. Please connect with us and join us on the next Between the Covers.